Good evening. I am Brandy Benito, and I will be discussing with you all today the needs of low-income families, specifically in Central Florida. I will be discussing the resources that are currently available to these families, as well as how we can better serve them to become more self-sufficient in the future. First, let's review what a needs assessment is. A needs assessment is a process of identifying and taking inventory of assets to move toward workable solutions that cause improvement. It is a method of formulating a plan for a desired outcome. For my needs assessment, the desired outcome is for low-income families to eventually rely less on government assistance programs in the future and to become more self-reliant. By requiring family members to participate in educational programs such as financial literacy, budgeting, and resume writing skills, we will be able to improve the lives of these families for good. So, why do a needs assessment? It is important to find out how we can help our community and the individuals in it to improve their economic status. It is also important to help individuals to move on from using these assistance programs. The audience specifically targeted in my needs assessment are low-income families and ALICE families. These families are the most at risk for not being able to meet basic needs, such as safe housing and food. We will discuss these groups in more detail next. First, let's begin with low-income families. So according to talkpoverty.org, in 2018, the poverty rate in Florida was 13.6% overall, 19.3% children, 14.1% working age women, and 11% working age men. ALICE stands for Assets Limited, Income Constrained, Employed. In other words, these are families with income above the federal poverty level, but below a basic survival threshold. Although working, these families still have difficulty meeting basic needs and are faced with the difficult task of choosing which bills are more important to pay and which to hold off on. More often than not, they are deciding whether to choose quality childcare or paying for rent. In Florida, the workers that fall into the ALICE category are cashiers, nurses, maintenance workers, and security guards, just to name a few. Just to give you a little more perspective, it was found that families need an income of about twice the federal poverty threshold to meet basic needs. This threshold in 2019 was $51,500 for a family of 4. Families below this are considered low income. So if you take a look at the graph here, there is a considerable increase in the gap between families that fall under poverty and the families that are considered the ALICE families. So basically what is going on is that these family members in the ALICE families are able to find work, but the cost of living increases way faster than their actual wage. So a lot of the times we have families that are fighting for their employers to provide livable wages for them. So let's talk about some of the available programs that are offered to these families by the government. So first of all, there is the SNAP benefits, or EBT. So this is basically food stamps, and this helps families purchase groceries. The next one is the temporary cash assistance. This provides cash to families with children under the age of 18. Third is Medicaid, and this provides medical coverage to low-income individuals and families. So this also is helpful for senior citizens or adults with disabilities. Fourth is the assistance with utility bills, and there are a few programs through the utility companies that will offer help to low-income families, and this is usually in the form of grants. Lastly is the low-income housing or housing vouchers. There are several apartment buildings made available for affordable housing for low-income families. There are also vouchers. They're called Section 8 vouchers or HUD vouchers that can be used to help pay a portion of a tenant's rent if they qualify. And doing some research, I found that currently in Orlando, Florida, the waiting list for the Section 8 vouchers is closed and has been closed since 2015. So where's the gap? There's been many instances in which families repeatedly use the government aid. There is a time limit for these programs. For example, food stamps are given for a certain number of months before the family must apply again. Temporary cash assistance can only be used for a certain number of months in an individual's lifetime. There is also a requirement for some of these government aids that the applicant must be actively looking for work if they are not already employed. Although this is helpful to ensure that use of these government programs are limited, it does not ensure that these families are learning new skills to become more self-sufficient. In order for low-income families to become more self-sufficient, it would be beneficial for them to participate in family life education programs that focus on things such as money management, savings behavior, and resume writing skills. It would also be best if every single member of the family takes part in a program so that everyone is held accountable to improve their family's economic standing. In order for this to happen, educators and professionals must make it a requirement for these families to participate in an FLE program that is best suitable to the family's needs, while they take advantage of the government benefits that are available to them. So let's talk about some of the resources that are already available to these families. So first I'm going to go ahead and list these programs. We'll go into more detail. So the first program is through the Orange County Youth and Family Services, and it's the Family Resources Program. Second is the Goodwill Industries in Central Florida in association with In Charge Debt Solutions. The next one is United Way, and the last one is the Florida Literacy Coalition. So the Orange County government here in Florida provides a resource program for families, and the services through this program is provided to residents experiencing an overwhelming or unavoidable crisis that could last more than 1 month. So this includes an illness, a disability, people that are trying to get back to work, and something that's happened currently is the pandemic. So these are all things that fall under the category for these services. And the services include learning to budget, financial assistance, finding community services for these families, and helping these families find services and benefits that will guide them and educate them to become more self-sufficient. This is a program that is offered for free. The next one, this one happens at the Goodwill Industries, and this is in association with In Charge Debt Solutions. It's a free monthly personal finance workshop. They go over credit reports, savings, budgeting. Each session is 2 hours long, and there are certain Goodwill locations that offer these workshops. And there's also certain ones that offer the sessions in both English and Spanish. This one's offered for free as well. So United Way offers 3 different types of workshops for our community. The first one is the youth workshop, and they teach from a realistic perspective. what they do is they show our youth exactly what it is that the adults and parents in their lives go through every month, such as setting financial goals, paying for housing or saving up to buy a house, as well as saving up for college or buying a new vehicle. The second workshop is for senior citizens, and there's a specific audience when it comes to senior citizens because they are the most vulnerable in the population to fall victim to scams. So the topics in the Senior Citizens Workshop include identity theft, planning for life events that are unplanned, and scams. The last workshop is Workplace Workshop. This is free and it happens on site at an individual's workplace. So they actually, in conjunction with the employers, they help the employees learn about retirement savings, how to budget their paychecks. This is very helpful because they'll be able to learn how to better allocate the money that they are getting from work. So the last program is the Florida Literacy Coalition, and they give access to online resources, webinars, and grants for adult basic education for educators and students. So it not only covers financial literacy, but it also covers reading, writing, all the basic educational topics that one would be covering going to school. But specifically for this presentation, we're going to focus on the financial literacy aspect of the program. So the curriculum for the financial literacy includes credit, banking, home ownership, and loans. And one of the great things about this program is that there's actually a link that you can click on that shows different programs that are available in your specific area. So that way an individual can go ahead and attend an in-person workshop. And this is great because they'll be able to get some feedback, or they're able to ask certain questions that are tailored to their specific need. So in conclusion, we need to help these families help themselves. And I believe that these are just a few of the many programs that are made available to the families to help them achieve their goals. It is just a matter of getting them to participate. I believe that the best environment for these families would be in a classroom and an in-person program so that they are able to get hands-on experience, especially when it comes to learning about money management. Having a face-to-face type of intervention will also benefit these families as they are able to ask questions directly to a facilitator. That type of interaction would be more helpful than doing an online program. Also, having the classroom experience will help keep family members accountable. I would like to thank you all for taking the time out to listen to my presentation. This is a topic that was I had great interest in because I live in a neighborhood where a lot of the families are low-income families. So I see it daily, the struggle that comes along with not being able to pay bills and trying to decide what is more important to pay at that moment. And I believe that having these families, requiring them to take part in a family life education program specifically targeted to their specific needs, such as financial literacy, will help them to become more self-sufficient so they do not have to rely on these government assistance programs unless they absolutely have to. I believe that it would be best if that was the very last thing that they would have to go to. Thank you.